Okay, so I bought this Colecovision, supposedly non-working, as well as this Intellivision over here, also non-working. But I wanted to check the Colecovision out first because the way it was described to me sounds like an easy fix. With the ColecoVision, the on-off power switch is a major problem in these things, and usually all it needs is a good cleaning. Sometimes you can just replace the switch altogether, or clean it up real good and it works, or just bypass the switch altogether. But let's see what we get here. Turn her on, and okay, she looks like she's working. Doesn't look bad at all. Well, if this is non-working, I'm pretty happy. Alright, so we can see the video glitch the lines. Seeing if the controllers are iffy. Let's see. Buttons work occasionally. Oh, there it goes. Controllers definitely could use some attention, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Obviously, the major issue is the picture there, the video. Let's try it again. Turn it off, turn it back on. It comes right back. Let me play with this button here. Okay, yeah. So you're just pushing down on the button, playing with the button. So more than likely, this switch, I just need to get in there, give it a good cleaning. The more I mess with the switch, I get some random graphic glitches on there. But overall, pretty happy with that. Let's see if we get the same thing. Yep, okay. So what I'll do is I'll remove the case, the outer case, get inside, and first thing I'll do is clean that switch up real good and see what happens. So to open one of these things up, it's pretty easy. It's just, I think there's, 8 screws, 3 on the sides and 2 in the middle. So remove those. There's actually, I think there's actually a screw or a couple screws, or maybe more than a couple screws behind the sticker, but you don't have to take those out. Good thing, because you wouldn't have to want to mess with that sticker too much. But I think if you just pry in it pretty gently, the front, you can bend it enough to pop the case off without messing with those front screws. So I'm going to take out those 8 screws and be right back. So yeah, once you remove the 8 Phillips screws, you put those aside, and here's where you got to pry the front up forward. I can take a, whoops, let's go to the camera. It can take a little bit of prying, but you'll get it. So I think as you flip it over and pull out the bottom part, like, if you can get my drift here. There we go. So not too bad inside, pretty clean, at least the top portion. See, you can see the screws in here. Now, if you could take those out, it'd make it a heck of a lot easier, but you don't really want to have to take off that label if you don't have to. And a lot of dust and debris down here. This just lifts right off. That's the reset button. Here's your power switch, just lifts right off. And that's the switch that I believe is the issue. Now from here, it's just removing some couple more screws here. Luckily, it looks like all the screws are the same size. The ones that held the case together and those two. So another thing you'll need is a good soldering unit or soldering iron, one that gets pretty good and hot. Got one over here. It's adjustable. I can adjust the heat. I think these are nice because you want to be able to adjust it down when you're working on the fragile stuff. But like for these shields, I don't know if you can see they've soldered them right to the board in a few different areas. There's a ground strap soldered right from the board to the shield itself. So that'll take some pretty good heat to get that solder loosened up and to get the shields off. And I think I haven't had an Intellivision apart in a while, but I believe the Intellivision is the same way. So yeah, you'll need a good hot soldering iron to get the shields off top and bottom. And once you get those points unsoldered, this lifts right off, and you have a couple more screws. Undo. And then the rest of it will lift off, and the bottom shield comes off. And the only thing left to deal with is your plug here. It just slides right out. And now you can get to the other side of this. And here's where the plug or the on-off switch is soldered into. Could just be some cold solder joints. I'm gonna unsolder those 6 points, pull the switch off, check it out, clean it up good. Also want to check for cold solder joints. Might as well take care of them now. If I see anything that looks fishy, I'll just reflow the solder and make sure everything is good there. But I still think the main culprit is the switch being very dirty. So I'll undo those 6 points and we'll get looking at that switch. But there's also these 2 legs that are holding on the metal casing around it. So once you get the metal case off, Off the top you can see the contacts, 6 contacts. Inside the plastic switch are these springy metal contacts. They're going to wear out, and the springiness wears out. They're not making good connection, but yeah, just clean the contacts up real good and kind of bend these legs out a little bit, make them a little bit more springier, if that makes sense. Okay, so I got everything hooked back up, cleaned that switch real good, soldered it back in place, and we're going to see if we got rid of those graphic lines. See what happens here. Okay, colors look really good. See if we got rid of the lines. And they are gone. These controllers aren't the greatest, but those will be next. Colecovision itself looks great. So as you can see, that switch is a big problem in the Colecovision. If you're ever having any graphic glitches or really anything like that, even if your ColecoVision's working great, you're probably going to want to clean that switch or replace it, because it's going to be a problem sooner or later. So after you get it working the way it should, you can put it back together. I cleaned everything up really well. It's probably not what a lot of people would do, but I've done it several times. Simple green or some sort of degreaser. I spray everything down, including the PCB, the motherboard. Clean it, spray it down real good, rinse it all off with hot water. It's best to do this on a nice sunny hot day, because when it's all rinsed off in hot water, make sure it's rinsed really well. Then you set everything out in the sun, direct sunlight. The PCB you want to leave out there for many hours. Good hot day, good hot sunny day. Leave it out there for many hours. Keep moving it around so the whatever water may be trapped or laying in one of these corners, the water moves around and eventually evaporates. So you just want to make sure it's good and dry. Like I said, rinse it off good with good hot water, and then get it out into the sun for several hours, and you'll be fine. Just make sure it's good and dry before you put power to it. So just reassemble it, the bottom shield back together here. Let's see. Just gotta play with it a little bit till you get it back in place. Put the screws back in. Put the metal plate back on. All your screws back in. These tabs go right there. Once you get it all back into place, resolder the ground strap and all the ground points, and we'll get it back together. So we're pretty much done. Once you get your ground strap soldered back in place, get your shields soldered back into place. Make sure you put your buttons on before the case. Don't forget that. Plug back in its slot. And now you just got to put the case on with the 6 screws, and you're done. Now, the one thing I did not talk about was the reset switch. you definitely want to check your reset switch. And if that's not working while you have it apart, you might as well clean it, because it's usually just needs cleaned as well to get that working. Okay, so here we are. It's all back together. Let's make sure she works. Flips it on. Colors look great. I know the controllers, I still have to rebuild the controllers. They're not so hot, but there you go. The lines are gone. Everything looks great. Like I said, the controllers need a good cleaning and all. Maybe do another video. Buttons aren't working consistently, and this feels kind of sticky. But reset button as well. Make sure that's working. If it's not, just clean it. But yeah, this power on-off switch is a very common problem on the ColecoVision. Doesn't fix everything, but if you have your ColecoVision apart, make sure you get inside this thing and clean everything up, and at least in the on-off switch. All right, that'll take care of this video. Thanks for watching.